Hello, this is OverlordBou, and today I'll be covering the upcoming US battleship, the Tier 8 USS Tennessee. Now, the Tennessee class battleships were the successors to the New Mexico class, supporting greater elevation for the main guns and different placements of her secondary batteries. Now, the two BBs of this class that were built was the Tennessee herself and the California, but we'll be focusing on the Tennessee today. Now, I know that you see their little raccoon on the ship running around. If someone could let me know what that raccoon is, if it was like a mascot or if it's more of a state thing, I'd greatly appreciate, because I tried looking it up to see if there was any kind of history on the raccoon. I really couldn't find anything, but if someone could let me know, I'd greatly appreciate down in the comments. Now, we all know this ship is going to be a premium ship for World of Warships, so you have to buy that with money, but you are able to get this ship for free. Yes, you can get this sniper of a BB because unlike its sister ship, the California, this ship is super accurate, as in almost as accurate as the Wisconsin. It is way accurate. So wherever you aim at with this ship, the Tennessee, you're going to hit, which makes this thing amazing with its 356s. Now, moving on from that. Now, how to get this ship for free is by completing the Leyte Gulf Web Adventure event. Now, alternatively, you can buy her as part of the Admiral bundle in the premium shop and armory, or you can gamble for her in the Leyte Gulf containers. But if you have time, I'd highly recommend doing the web adventure and getting her for free. Again, a free ship, super accurate, and I also think this ship is a lot of fun to play, so I would definitely say it's worth it, and is also a great crew trainer as well. Now, moving on there, let's start talking about some of the stats of this ship so you guys can get a better handle of this ship. Now, as you can see, you have 12 356mm guns. Unfortunately, the firing angles aren't that great. You are able to overmatch 24mm, which can't even overmatch most cruiser armor at her tier. You do get a 20.2 kilometer range, which is amazing, with a 28-second reload, which is decently fast for a 12-gun battleship. And you also get the cruiser accuracy. Yes, she is almost as accurate as the cruiser like Baltimore, which is absolutely insane for a battleship. You do get a 60-second turret diverse, which is god-awful, which is why I highly recommend building into, which I'll be showing the build at the end of the video. Now, the saving grace of this ship is the laser accuracy on these 12 guns. It is worth sacrificing everything for. Broadside ships get absolutely destroyed by a full salvo, and bow-in ships will eat a face full of HE shells. Now remember, there is no overmatch, so make sure to switch to HE if you need to kill bow-in cruisers and battleships. Now let's talk about the ship's hull. You do have a 59,000 HP pool, which is really bad compared to other tier 8 battleships, but you do get a 32mm bow and stern, which is really nice for a tier 8 battleship, with a 32mm deck and a 35mm side armor. Now this armor isn't the best. With that 32mm armor, you are able to handle some HE throwing from some cruisers, but any higher tier cruiser, like tier 9 or tier 10 that has that 32mm HE pen, you're gonna have a really rough time. Now you do have a 343mm belt armor with a 35% torpedo protection, which is really nice, but unfortunately you do have that 60-second fire, which is quite painful. Now you do have poor survivability by tier 8 BB standards. With a low HP pool and a minimum armor, it means the Tennessee heavily relies on her concealment, which is amazing. You get a really good concealment on this ship of 11.4 kilometers, which is just godsend. Plus that accuracy just means you can sit there and wait, move up into position, and just dev strike on any unsuspected cruisers or battleships that show you broadside. At least you do get a fast reloading repair party and the 20-second DCP to be able to help alleviate the survivability, so very nice for wargaming to balance that in. Now moving on, let's talk about the secondary batteries. Yeah, don't build into these, please. They're not worth building into at all. don't. They're inaccurate. They're not very good. Definitely don't focus into them. Definitely focus into the main guns and the ship survivability, and you'll do fantastic. Now, moving on, let's talk about the ship's anti-air. Now, surprisingly average, considering she is a U.S. battleship and has the same hull as the California. Actually, she actually has worse anti-air than the California. I don't know how, but you do get DFA, which helps it bump it above average, but it's definitely not enough considering you don't have the HP to absorb CV attacks all game. Like, yeah, just imagine you just getting swarmed by like a Kaga or a Chakala, Priya, or any of those, and just don't even mention a tier 10 CV. Yeah, you're not gonna have a fun time at all. Or the new Hildebrand, which has been running around everywhere. So it's good luck of any of those. Well, at least you do have a very tight turning radius, which I'll be talking about in a moment after I talk about the ASW. You do get the standard tier 8 BB airstrikes, which is respectable due to the 10-kilometer range. So ASW airstrikes, thumbs up for me, thumbs up. Now, for that maneuverability we were just talking about, you get a 640 meter turning radius. That is tighter than most cruisers. Insane turning radius. This will also help you be able to dodge torpedoes or incoming salvos. It'll make it very hard for them to be able to hit you. You do also get the 14.7 second turn time, which is very fast for a battleship, and in practice even better since you don't have to build into rudder shift. Since it already has a really fast rudder shift, you can just build into propulsion to be able to help you be able to turn out quicker as you're doing your turn. So highly recommend taking propulsion, which I'll be showing the build at the end of the video. Is very slow, right? I didn't mention it before, but yeah, like since it's a sister ship to California, just assume this ship is going to be slow, right? So this ship has a top speed of 20.5 knots, which is almost as slow as the Langley. Yeah, that's pretty slow. It's by far the slowest ship at tier 8. Now this ship is so slow. Even the Kansas leaves her in the dust, which is really upsetting. You do get the excellent turning radius, but that's not enough compensation for never leaving spawn. So definitely make sure you select your position carefully, or you'll get overrun quickly and be left behind in a push. Now, whenever you are playing this ship, make sure you're using your turning to be able to dodge incoming cells. Don't try to throttle juke that much, because if you do, you aren't going anywhere with your throttle juking. It's better for you to turn the dodge and than it is to try to throttle juke. So focus more on turning and less on throttle juking, because you're not going to be going anywhere at all. Moving on, let's talk about this ship's concealment. As we were saying earlier, it has an amazing 11.4 kilometer concealment. A godsend for a tier 8 battleship. It's amazing for a battleship, and you're definitely going to need it to sneak up on enemies and smash their broadsides, because again, you get cruiser accuracy with this ship, which will allow you to absolutely devastate broadside cruisers or battleships who aren't expecting you to be there. Now, for the final part of the stats, we have the consumables. You get the improved 20-second damage control party, which is really nice for the Americans. You do get the fast reloading repair party of the 40-second cooldown, which will help you be able to heal a lot of your HP back, because you don't really have that much. You do have the DFAA, which is really nice, and you also get a choice between a fighter and a spotter. And let's be real, of course you're going to take the spotter, because fighters are practically worthless at this point, so better to take the spotter. So a little bit about the Tennessee here. So overall, the Tennessee is joining her sister ship, the California, in World of Warships. And oh boy, she has that spicy gimmick. If you've played battleships at all, which I'm sure everyone watching this has, then you know how frustrating it is that it's inaccurate, how inaccurate they can be at times, right? Now, what if I told you that never happens with the Tennessee? Yeah, you heard me right. Wargaming Sol players loved the laser accuracy of the Wisconsin at tier 10 and thought, what if we just double down that gimmick and put it on a tier 8? And that's literally how it goes to the Tennessee. The feeling that every shot will always go where you aim is absolutely amazing, and it feels so good that you're not scared of a dispersion or you have to take less risky shots because you feel like dispersion is going to troll you. No, where you aim is where the shots are going to be going. Now, sure, you're never going to leave spawn because, you know, 20 knot speed. And the turrets are glued to the ship, which is why you build into turret diverse. And the AP shells bounce off the bow in cruisers. And then again, tier 10 matchmaking sucks. But seeing 12 shells emerge in flight and dev strike the poor victim that underestimated you is worth the price of admission for that. Now, in her case, the price is literally free. You can get this sniper BB for free by completing the Leyte Gulf Web Adventure event. Alternatively, you can buy her as part of the Admiral bundle in the premium shop and the armory or gamble for her in the Leyte Gulf containers. But if you have time, I highly recommend you get this ship for free. You don't have to pay anything. You just do the web adventure. You can get her for free as long as you have the time. The build that I recommend for the Tennessee and the one that I personally use is going to be shown on the top right. The first skill I take is going to be gun feeder, so I can switch in between AP and HE quicker. The second skill, of course, is then going to be grease the gears so that the turrets turn quicker, since this ship has a very slow turret diverse. In slot 3 is adrenaline rush, so if I'm getting lower health, I'll have a faster gun reload, which is really nice on this ship. Normally I'd recommend next would be fire prevention, but since this ship has such a great concealment, I'd rather take concealment first for the 4th skill, and then for the 5th skill I then take fire prevention. 6 is then going to be survivability expert, and then after that it's going to be brisk. Since this ship has such a nice concealment, it's best to build into brisk so you can go a little bit quicker, because if you don't, you aren't going to be going anywhere anytime any soon. Now, moving on to the modules, as you can see for the modules, we have a main armament in slot 1. In slot 2 is damage control party in slot 2. In slot 3 is going to be turret traverse to be able to turn your turrets quicker. In slot 4, it's going to be propulsion to get your speed up a little bit quicker, and then the concealment in slot 5 to be able to keep your great concealment. Now, of course, you have spotter plane in the modules, so don't take fighter. It's practically worthless. It's better just to take spotter plane instead. Now, a little history lesson about the Tennessee. Now, though two Leyte are participating in World War I, the Tennessee participated in several interwar naval exercises that helped shape the U.S. naval doctrine. Now, during the attack on Pearl Harbor, the Tennessee was moored in Battleship Row alongside the West Virginia. While the Tennessee sustained several bomb hits, she survived the attack with relatively minimal damage. Now, after the repairs and receiving aid modernization in 1943, she returned to frontline service, and it is in this state that the in-game Tennessee is represented. She took part in the famous Battle of the Leyte Gulf, specifically the Battle of Surigao Strait, where she and several other U.S. BBs exacted their revenge against the Japanese fleet and the last battleship engagement in history. Now, following the end of World War II, the Tennessee was placed in the reserve fleet and decommissioned in 1947. Ultimately, she was sold for scrap and broken up in 1959. And the Tennessee earned 10 battle stars for her service. Now, that is going to be it for today's video. If you guys have any questions or concerns, definitely know in the comments down below. And again, if someone could let me know the history of the raccoon on the ship, or if there's any history of it at all, I would greatly appreciate it, and I will talk to y'all later.